Hello everyone, welcome to another episode. Today the main aims are potting on some plants and also planting the potatoes. See you soon. Right then, so today it's mainly to do with the tomatoes. They're getting really leggy now, and they're going to start damping off if I'm not too careful. So they're my plants. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them into these 3-inch pots now, pot them on a bit further on so they can have a bit more room and space out. Like I say, the only problem is with windowsill growing is that things often become leggy, so action is required as soon as. So I've got about, 15 I'd say to do. So I've got some potting on mix, Johnny is number 2. Let's twist this round a bit. So, give the bag a good shake. Still get some clods in anyway, but that's the only point of the sieving. I like to use a decent sieve. This one's about 5mm squared, so I'll be using that for my carrot mix as well. So basically just give it a nice sieve, breaking down the clods with the back of the plant pot. Give it a good sieve. It's a bit damp actually, I've only just got it from the garden centre, so it'll take a bit of time before it dries out, but storing it in a greenhouse helps that. If you have any wet bags or compost, just bring it to a greenhouse if you're fortunate to have one. It'll soon dry out. Right then, that's the first bit. So then, let's get some perlite. Does get quite dusty, so just be careful you don't inhale too much of it. Give that a good mix round. This just adds for drainage, the perlite. I put 1.5 pints into about a 15-litre mix. Right then, that's that. So, take your pot. Put it up. Just skim it off the top like that. And now what I do at this time, is you put your fingers in, just make a little hole like so. Then it'll be easy for transplanting your tomatoes. So there's my plants. So basically, just pinch the bottom, just to release the roots. Just slowly keep pinching till it comes free. A healthy little plant like so. You see it? So then pop it in, like that. Push the soil round, firm it in with your fingers, and give it a tap just to even the soil out again. There we go. So I'll crack on with the rest of the tray and I'll get back to you shortly. Right everyone, there's the finished article. Moneymaker tomatoes, first 3 rows to the left, and the 3 in the end there are the beef steaks. So I've just topped them up with a bit of vermiculite. And that's it now, hopefully, until they go into the grow bags. So Now I'll crack on down the allotments and put the potatoes in. When you're feeling parched, there's no finer sound in the sheds than this. Nice cup of tea. Okay, just while the rotavator's ticking over in the distance there, I'll just show you what I've done. I weed the beds before I plant the potatoes twice. I do it one before winter and one after winter. The reason I do this is I need to get all the big deep rooted docks and dandelions etc. out of the ground before I can rotivate it, or there's no point doing it at all. The reason I rotivate it is to make the soil really nice and fluffy, so it's a lot easier for me earthing up. I earth up straight after I've put the potatoes in because I just find it such a chore if you have to go back and do it like 4, 5, 6 weeks down the line. I like to do it all at once, and then I can just forget about potatoes, they'll look after themselves and they can move on and do something else. So I've strung this line out then. I've used the trencher, the tool I showed you earlier, to create a bit of a furrow. Then I used the bulb planter just to core out a hole just enough to sit the potato in. I've put a light dressing of soil over the top, and then I've put some chicken manure pellets on and some blue fertiliser pellets called Spuds Galore. I'll just show you. There you go, organic pelleted fertiliser, chicken manure basically, and then this Spuds Galore mix, extra magnesium, trace elements, high in NPK. I use the Spuds Galore only for the first earlies. I don't use it for the seconds or main crop. Reason is the first earlies is only in the ground for 3 or 4 months maximum, so this is a quick releasing fertiliser, so it'll do the potatoes some good. For longer duration of crops such as the main crops or seconds, I use a bit of bloodfish and bone. Same principle, just cover it over the potatoes and then just put a light dusting handful over the top. And then what I'll do is I'll just ridge these up, and then that'll be the final bit. Right, as you can see, I've used the trenching tool just to create a bit of a furrow. There we go. Not bad, straightish. That's roughly about 4 inches down. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to use the bulb corer just to make a bit of an incision, a hole. There we go. So, pretty much easy. Just pop it in, twist and pull out, and there you go, a nice little hole. The benefit of this corer here, it's got a bit of a springy action, so then you can just lose your compost like so, you know, nice and easy. So what I'll do is I'll carry on doing that. As I said beforehand, I'll plant a potato in each, cover it over lightly with a bit of soil, put some fertiliser on, and then do the same as I did with the previous row, and just ridge them up, and then I'll show you the end results. Right then, all ready to go. I'll just tell you the varieties I've using for my first earlies. This tray here is Pentland Javelin. I grew these last year and I had a decent crop out of them. I'm quite pleased actually. Years gone by I've used the variety Foremost as the great heavy cropper, and I like the flavour of them. I was getting up to 15 potatoes per plant last year. If you want to troll through my videos from last year and have a look at my reveals, you'll be able to see how well they did for yourselves. But the variety I've chosen this year, reason being is because I didn't get the Foremost from the local garden centre. They didn't have any in stock and I couldn't find them anywhere, so I've chose Iron Pilot, just, you know, bog standard traditional, very good cropper. But it's nice to try different ones, I suppose. Please tell me what you're using, by the way, what variety of potatoes you're using. I'm also using Cara Desiree for my main crops, and I can't remember what the other two were. Estima, and I can't remember what the second one was for my second. So just let me know what you're using anyway. It's always nice to get a feel of what everybody's using and how well they do, how well they crop. It lets everybody else know the varieties, and then they can decide for themselves in future. But all I do then is foot apart, put the holes, that's all I do. The chits, make sure they're on the top facing up, some nice little ones there. I mean, these have been going a few weeks, but they have been restricted with some light, 'cause I've had that much going off in the shed. You know, the Aran pilots were about an inch, but if you get any on the sides like this, just rub them off. It's just the tops you want. Just rub them off with your thumb, that'll come off nicely. And then what you do, drop it in the hole, but make sure that the chits are sticking up. Then just cover them over lightly, like so, and carry on to the end of the row. And then, like I said, I'll just put a bit of fertiliser on, and then I'll haul them up again, so I'll show you the final results when I come back next. Right everyone, that's the first earlies in, down on one of the allotments. So now I'm just going to go and plant the rest of the remaining potatoes in some pots, show you how I do that, and then I think I'll call it a day for today. See you soon. Right then, one last thing before I go, and I shall show you what I'm going to do. I've got these 15 litre pots here, and these are for planting the potatoes in. Now on the second allotment, because I've got for raised beds, these would just be great because I can move them about whenever I like, and they won't take up too much of an area, so that's my thinking. So what I've done is I've sieved last year's grow bags, which was in the greenhouse. I've got them here behind me, which is basically multi-purpose compost type stuff. So fill these pots up. Right, so I've got this like plastic pint pot here which I'll go by marking. I've put 6 of those in of last year's grow bag compost, and what I'm going to do now is for every 3 of those I'm going to put 1 of the potting mix, potting on mix Johnny Miss number 2. So I've done 6, so I'll do 2 of those, and also I've got the Spuds Galore fertiliser, and just needs literally a scatching and covering over the top, just like so. That's enough, plenty. Right then, get your hands in, mix it all together. Like so. And then repeat again. As with the potatoes, when I'm earthing up, I like to fill these pots right up. The potatoes are well big enough and strong enough, the shoots, to push right through, so it's worked for me in the past, so you know, why change the habit of a lifetime, as they say. Right, 6 again. And 2 more. More Spuds Galore. We all are a nice deep mixing. Right, so what I'll do then, I usually only put 1 potato in, but because these are small, I'm going to put 3 in. These are the 3 what's left anyway, so Pentland Javelin, that'll be my marker until I get my little computerised marker. Chitty ends in, push them right down. Maybe about a couple of inches from the bottom. Cover it over. Repeat again. Right down. A couple of inches from the bottom. As with potatoes, they grow up the shoots and stems. So they like branch off. Imagine a tree and all the potatoes hanging off the branches of the tree. That's why we haul up. We haul the rows up or cover it with a lot of compost, just for that reason. And then all I'll do is I'll just top this up now to within about 1 inch from the top. Tip for these is, because they're in containers, make sure they're kept well moist and they don't dry out. Potatoes are greedy plants, they like a lot of wet. So make sure they grow. So that's it then. That's the potatoes in the pots, 2016. There we go, the finished results. Okay everyone, so just in the greenhouse at the moment, and this is what I'm going to be doing in preparation for filling the holes of the carrots in the carrot box, just like so. In the plastic lime green gorilla tub I've mixed 50% John Innes No. 2 potting on compost and also just bog standard ordinary multi-purpose compost. But I've used a really fine sieve like so. It's about 3mm squared, so I've really got all the lumps and bumps out, because if carrots or any taproot or anything like them, it'll just fork them. And as these are to be grown for shows, it's really important. I'm going to use some fertiliser called Jack's Magic as well. So I'll get it all mixed up and show you how I go on. Jack's Magic Garden Fertiliser, traditional blend. NPK of 6-8-12, high in phosphorus and potassium specific for root veg. Take a 10-litre pot, fill it with soil, and take a small handful, scatter it all in, give it a nice mix up. Like so. Right then, to take the mix, I'm using a pot that's just been cut at the bottom there, just so they fit nice into the holes. Stops the sand falling in at the top. And just top it up. Like so. Scrap these edges round, and then I usually just do it with the back of my hand and press it, because then you can top it back up. And again, firm it down once topped up. And that's what you're left with. So I'll carry on with the rest and show you the finished results. Right then everyone, they're all done now. That's 25 in total, so I'll just recap what I've done. I took a 10-litre pot and I added in a mixture of 50% multi-purpose compost and 50% potting on compost. John Innes No. 2 added. through a very fine sieve to make it really nice and fluffy. Mixed them together in the 10-litre pot. Then I added a handful of Jack's Magic, which is a garden fertiliser with an NPK of about, I think it was 6-8-12 or 6-10-12, so it's really good phosphorus and phosphates, pardon me, and potassium for the root crops. It's great for them, so anything high in the K and P column should generally be very good for the roots. So now I shall get on and show you how to sow the carrot seeds. Right everyone, just before I sign off, I'm just going to show you what I've been up to on the second allotment. As you can see, there's loads of raised beds and that now, which are all filled in with multi-purpose compost, mushroom compost mix. I've started to get some wood chip for the paths. There's a bit of area at the back there to tidy up, but this is literally a work in progress type of allotment. The clotches they can see are where I'm going to have the parsnips. I'm just making sure the ground's warmed up a lot because we've had everything from rain, sleet, hail, snow, freezing temperatures, the very odd day of warm weather. And just at the back there is the new greenhouse. Now, when I first got this just before Christmas, I got it on a Black Friday deal. And when I mentioned on one of my videos beforehand, I think it was Nigel from Muddy Boots asked if I was to film it, but what it is I've only been coming down every half an hour when I can, just to do bits and pieces, put a couple more frames in, etc, etc. So it would have been such a long boring video, I didn't want to do that. So on my next video I'll give an in-depth thing and a bit of a closer look at what I've been doing, and then put a couple of the panels in, the windows and that, and then just show you what I've show the final piece really. So that's it really for this video. That's all I'm up to at the moment. There will be a little short video on afterwards, which I'll put up when I've sown the carrots in the carrot box. But for the time being, thanks for watching, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the new subscribers that have just been added to the list recently. Thank you very much, and till next time, I'll see you soon.